Purple Daily is daily Vikings entertainment. We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die.
I will ride with this group.
Seriously, man. Please.
And away we go.
Oh, my gosh.
Dude,
It is so great to have the Rhino, Alex Boone, back on Purple Daily. Welcome back, sir.
Mackey, what did you do to get me back here? This is
Well,
bringing
dude, it's
back
hard to
memories,
pry
buddy.
you away from 13-year-old football practice after I mean, there's a lot of pressure on you when you dominate the 12-year-old season the way that you guys did, and the expectations are so high. You know, I can imagine your schedule right now.
Bullseye on our back, I tell the boys every day. And it's funny because we went out yesterday and I thought they were getting a little soft on me. And I had to remind them, like, football is the only sport that you can come out here and beat up your friend and laugh about it. Don't ever forget that. Dude, I swear to God, the fire rises. It was insane. They were like,
those motivational tactics, you can't just run them back year over year. You got to
can't
find
do
new
this
ones.
at school, right? That's what my uncles used to tell me. They're going to let you go out there and do whatever you want. And I was like, seriously? All right.
Whatever I want?
Let's go have some fun. Yeah.
Like, whatever I want. It's
I'll tell
crazy.
you what, you want to talk about whatever you want. Brian Flores is just doing whatever he wants. And KOC
look at that segue.
just...
It's like you never left Purple Daily. By the way, a couple things here. So you guys see, this is going to be a very these Trenches episodes. I think this is year 4 with Booney in the trenches with us here doing breakdowns, or year 3.
Buddy.
So a couple things before we dive in here. We're going to show you each week, and it's depending on schedules. Our plan A every week is to do this earlier in the week, like Monday night. We're still working out schedules, but we're going to look at some of the key plays from each Vikings game. If you want more from Alex too, Alex Boone, Jeremiah Searles, and then you guys let me tag along, have a podcast and a YouTube channel called the O-Line Committee, where you guys are doing breakdowns. We got the Monday podcast breaking down the entire league. So that's Alex's project with Jeremiah Searles, the O-Line Committee YouTube channel. Check that out. And you may
Mackie,
have
you're
seen,
with us on that. You're with us on that.
Well, you guys played 16 years in the NFL. I played in 8th grade. So I'm like, I'm like in the car, but I'm learning from you guys.
You're driving and we're just hanging out of it going crazy. And at times you guys tell me to shut up.
It's probably probably accurate.
Sounds like we're back at work. Boone, shut up.
Right. Okay. By the way, people may have seen off the top there that glorious Roku TV. So Roku is America's #1 TV streaming platform, and they also make glorious TVs with everything you ever want built in. In fact, downstairs. So we're doing these. These are late night editions of Trenches here. Dim the lights, put on some film, my wife and I were downstairs staring at our new 65-inch Roku Pro Series TV that automatically adjusts picture quality depending on what you're watching. Go to Roku.com and learn more, or shop at a retailer near you.
Not even kidding. Huge Roku fan. Huge.
Dude.
Got one in the garage. Got one in the 3 Seasons. Just football all the time. Can transport them anywhere you want. They're so easy. God, I love a Roku.
It's great, man.
Great call.
And then YouTube TV added the option to like customize you can like put 4 games on.
Listen,
and
I'm at a little bit of a love-hate right now with YouTube. Okay, I'm at a love-hate. All right, my kids on my football team they're way too much YouTube, and I'm nixing the whole thing right now. I'm sorry, I have to.
Okay, that's good parenting. You got to make sure that they're minding their YouTube P's and Q's.
Dude, it's too much Mr. Beast bullshit. I can't do it anymore. And I'm like, listen, you guys, we got to use the other side.
Isn't Mr. Beast like getting? I saw something today. Mr. Beast and Amazon were putting together some sort of like reality show competition.
Probably,
but it's turning into like that Firefest thing that went sideways a few years back, and so they're getting sued. It's a whole thing.
Half my kids on my team think they're going to be in that, and I'm like, oh my god, you guys are driving me nuts. We're going to be in an Iowa tournament. What are you talking about? I'm kidding.
So,
we are going to Iowa though. Go ahead, hit me.
Before we roll this tape here and go through some of these key plays, just like Vikings are 2-0.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny because everyone has a thought on what the NFL is going to look like going into the season, right? Like on paper, look at you can predict records, and then so many crazy things happen. Like the Saints average 45 points a game in the first 2 weeks, and
insane.
The Vikings come out and beat the 49ers. And so just like, what are your general thoughts on how realistic the Vikings 2-0 start is? Are you...
Oh, I'm respecting
What
it.
is your opinion of them now versus like 3 weeks ago?
Obviously, is this how you make me eat my words again? I mean,
Tell
Listen,
me I was right and you were wrong is what I'm
nobody
getting at.
was more upset when J.J. McCarthy went down than me. Like, I was like, at any cost, please don't let this be true, because I was super excited. And honestly, I think it was probably because the 5 years that I saw Sam Darnold, I was just never like, oh my God, it's great. Like, I just didn't see him command the field as much as I've seen other guys. And so I wasn't as excited, and I didn't think it would be as good as it was. And obviously you start the season off with the Giants, and I was like, okay, that's the Giants. Let's see a real game, right? And you come out here, and this is where I'm starting to be like, okay, I kind of like what I see. Like, take away the Sam Darnold interception. That was one hell of a play by Fred Warner. There's no question. Dude, all pro, no question.
Yeah.
The fumble hurts. Like, that is going to hurt. But you look at what's going on here, and even like watching JJ break free on a 2-man route, and just the fact that his speed is so insane, and the fact that Sam Darnold hit him on a dime, or you watch Ty Chandler and the way he breaks through this offensive line, and the way that he can run, and he has the explosive ability to get out of anything, and it's just like, man, this could be a really fun team to watch. And I think I was more concerned about Sam Darnold.
I mean, yeah, that's valid. I think everybody had.
Yeah, and that was my biggest thing, was like, all right, let me see you come out here and do it, because everyone's right. You have so many key pieces to this offense that's like, how could you mess this up, right? Like, you have JJ, you have Ty Chandler, you have Aaron Jones, you have TJ Hawkinson, you have Jordan Addison. Now all of a sudden you're kind of missing some players, and it's like, okay, let's see what's going to happen now. And that's where I think I'm at now. It's like, okay, we're down a few pieces. Let's see what this guy can do. Am I excited that you're 2-0? Absolutely. There's no question. I mean, to win a game in this league is extremely hard. And to win 2 of them, you're like, okay, this is kind of a thing going on here. And I think it's the fact that Brian Flores' defense is so fun to watch on an offensive line level, because it includes so many pieces and parts. And we talked about this, I think, 2 years ago on the show, about when everybody started changing their numbers. And all of a sudden it was like, who's who and what's what, and is he up, is he down? And Brian's like, let me take all of that, throw it into a blender, and just push out a million different things. And all of a sudden, what am I going to do? I'm going to mess with their brain. I'm going to get them mentally, which is going to slow them down physically, which is eventually going to lead to us having success. Not only that, but a huge shout out to Cashman. What a game. Like, you get the sack. I thought his coverages were amazing. He was everywhere, showing up. What is it? Over 10 tackles, like
13 tackles, I want to say.
That was another big piece for, I think, a lot of people, was like, who's going to secure the middle? What's going to happen? And now he's showing up getting sacks. I mean, dude, when you talk about linebackers getting sacks, especially over Trent Williams.
You probably didn't see this while you were drawing up new jet sweep motions for the 13-year-olds. A story came out, I think it was yesterday. No, it was Brian Flores was talking to reporters, and somebody asked him about Blake Cashman, and he said, yeah, I mean, I didn't really know a whole lot about him, because like he didn't. If you're a coach in the NFL and a team doesn't come across your schedule, it's hard to know the entire league beyond your schedule. And so he's like, sure. I mean, I had heard of Cashman. He was a special teams guy up until like a year ago.
Right.
But Mike Sherrills, the former Minnesota Gopher linebacker and assistant coach, apparently Flores and Sherrills have daughters that are friends, and they were hanging out like last fall, 2023. And Cheryl said, you start talking about Blake Cashman, and Flores is like, oh, who? Like, Blake Cashman? Okay, tell me more. And Mike Cheryl starts talking him up and saying, dude, he'd be perfect in your system. He's going to be a free agent at the end of the year. So B-Flow put on the tape like a year ago and said, wow, okay, if this dude's an option in free agency for the Vikings come March, we need to have a conversation. And
absolutely. And he's exactly what you need. A speedy, fast linebacker that's not afraid to hit people, not afraid to get dirty, but also I got to meet Blake this offseason. He's obviously from Eden Prairie. And being on the board in EP, we had a fundraiser and we invited him. And he ended up being one of the nicest guys I think I've ever met. And this is coming from one player to another, where it was like all the guard was down. It was just me and him chilling. And it was like, hey, man, what's up? Let's start talking. And he's just really a good dude. And I love when you meet a guy, they're super awesome, and then they go out and they're a playmaker on the field and they do things right. And this is a testament to that. But not only that, but this is momentum going forward, right? We're 2-0 now. We're looking down the barrel of another game, and it's like we have a little bit of momentum behind us. We kind of have a little bit of an identity behind us. We're running the ball well. The play action is just, for the longest this year, gone 97 yards on a simple dangle this and throw that. I mean, it's getting to be exciting. And then you talk about the touchdown later on a play action duo, because what was burning him earlier in the game? Duo. And all of a sudden you're like, man, KO's really got this thing cooking really well, and it's fun because even when they lose a few pieces, they're still right where they want to be.
Well, let's go full screen here for the YouTube audience.
I don't know if you're ready. We got to get rid of the top, dude.
Yeah, let me take that off here. Let's see here. I'm producing this without my pilot, Declan. So
there we go.
So I'm going to run some of these. By the way, Alex Boone, a decade plus in the NFL, and started in a Super Bowl. Obviously, spent some time with the Vikings. Loved it so much. You and your family stayed in Minnesota.
Couldn't
you are
leave.
one of us. You're buying pies at Kowalski's. It's very exciting. So let's look at a couple of the big defensive plays to start here. I'm going to roll this from two different angles on the pass plays. And since it's been a little while since we've done this on Purple Daily, just because I'm running the film and you're commenting, I can draw on the screen for the audience. You shout out numbers as much as you can so I can circle the right people too. So
absolutely.
Here we go.
We're going to let the first one roll. We'll just let everybody see what we got. We go from a 2x2 to a 3x1, which
Look at this. Look at
always
this.
fun. Actually, that's a 1x. That's Kittle down there.
There's your guy Cashman.
Told you, man.
Coming
Great
up big.
coverage.
These are
All right,
third downs too. The
pause
first
it
couple
right
of
away
third
when it
downs.
shows up. Pause. Right. There, pause. All right, right away we start out, and it's a simple odd front, but both the backers have walked up, so this would be some sort of a simple 5-0, right? This is where things get really interesting because of the numbers. We got a 43 up here. We got a 51. We got a 15. We got a 92. We got a 58. Everyone's kind of like, who's who and who's down? You can see him talking. Who's down? What are we doing? Where's everybody going? Let me see what he says. He's telling them, listen, we're going to the left.
So center's pointing. We're going left over here.
It looks like he gave him the, hey, we're going with a lucky call. But the weirdest thing is, as soon as he looks up, that guy has now moved and shifted out. Blake Cashman has come off the ball, and now Van Ginkel's kind of pulled somebody out with him. So
we're going left right here.
Right. Which makes me think 24 would take Cashman. Since we're in an odd, we would probably call this more of a Lou, right? Because there's 3 down, and we would count Van Ginkel as a linebacker in this. Here we go.
But they don't even run any games
go
off
back.
this.
Go back real quick because this is what they wanted to do. This is the fun part about this overload. It starts out as an odd, almost like a 5-0. But when you end up in this, what we call an overload to one side, you end up putting an isolation on one player somewhere. And obviously we see right now it's McKivitz. And they're like, okay, we're going to go one-on-one versus McKivitz because they want you to pull everybody over there. Now, San Fran does a good job of actually just kind of setting back into like a bird set or a 5-0. But the problem is right now McKivitz is beaten. You can see because, look, he's already starting to turn with panic. Like, oh, my God, he got beat off the edge. Yes, and we still haven't put hands on anyone, and we're already starting to turn, and we're behind ourselves. And right here, we just talked about this on our last show. What happens when I slap that outside hand? Your outside foot's going to stop, right? And instantly he's going to be able to turn this corner as fast as he can. And we have always talked on our show about how when they show up in this overload front, you should be worried about some twist or game. But here they just rush straight, and this is the Flores. And what am I going to do? You don't know. But turning this corner, getting just a little bit on that ankle was just enough to kind of spook him a little bit. But at the same time, this coverage by Blake Cashman is incredible.
Yeah, let's watch Cashman here too. I mean, he's going to go out of the frame probably on this, but
no, you're good. But I mean, this is how you can attack an offense with 4 rushers. Everyone always says, "Oh, you got to blitz to get pressure." You don't always have to blitz to get some sort of pressure. You just
the
have
Vikings
to be creative.
blitzed on like 50% of defensive plays last year, and they had to because they only really had one viable edge rusher. Booney, I feel like maybe they don't have one individual guy as good as Danielle Hunter, but I feel like the collective in that Van Ginkel, Grenard, Dallas Turner first round pick, dude, Jihad Ward. I mean, you'll see on this play. The Vikings are running out oftentimes only linebackers and edge rushers on these third down plays. And you got Jihad Ward, who's like a 250-pound outside linebacker, been with 4 different teams or whatever.
It's because speed kills, especially when you talk about these third downs, forcing these guys to get off the ball, forcing these twists in here, forcing these spin moves, all of this. Now, we just talked about how it was an odd front. It looked like a 5-0. Now we're going to walk up there and it's a double Cali. Instantly, everything changes to more of a 4-down front. We have our 4-down defensive tackles, and then we have our 2 linebackers in the middle. We're going to count Van Ginkel as down just because for argument's sake, if we were to walk up here, we don't have time. Number one, we're on the road. We don't have time to start pointing out who's up and down. We're just going to go off of spacing. And we're going to go, okay, listen, this is as even as it gets, and there's my 2 linebackers in the middle. So let's pick a side and let's go. Now, you think they would be going to 44 because the running back is going to come up here and take 51.
By the way, real quick, again, this is what we just talked about. So you literally have here as an offensive line, you're IDing what these 6 dudes are all being ID'd here, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Correct.
They're all linebackers.
I know, it's crazy, right? Look at their numbers.
I'll draw a distinction. These are your traditional like middle line. Well, Metellus is technically a safety, but he's kind of playing linebacker.
That's my
here.
whole point. Like,
but the other guys are all edge rushers.
But even like a 43 number, you wouldn't be thinking that's a D tackle. And what it can do at times is when they start moving around, it can start to make you think. At times on a twist, all you see is a number or a flash, and you're like, I saw the 4 and I thought it was a linebacker, and you're like, nah, dude, that was a 3 technique, you idiot. Hey, once again, go back. This is a great job of getting pressure with 4, right? We were wrong on what we guessed. They're cross keying this, so we're obviously in a Ricky call right here, and the running back's going to cross key probably to break a tendency. But this is a great 4-man rush that gets home, and a lot of this is because if you look, Trent Williams kind of gets put in the blender over here on the edge, and here comes our pressure. And at the same time, on the right side, this little spin move on the inside. I'll be honest with you, there was nothing more fearful than like a spin move. And guys like Everson Griffin, when they would put it on you, you were just like, man, if I'm leaning in any way, and this is exactly what kind of happens to Trent out here. He starts to lean a little bit too outside, and all of a sudden he gets pushed out there. Now, he does a good job of recovering as much as he can, but look how this pocket is starting to close on us. Brino's like, oh my God, I'm not even blocking anybody. If you're turned and facing the quarterback, the only thing you can say to him is throw it, and you're like screaming because you're like, throw it. It's terrible, dude.
And then Booney on the right side, and when we say right side, meaning the directions we're talking about are the offensive line. So the right side of the offensive line here.
Yeah.
So right tackle. This looks like a little twist here where you've got Jihad Ward basically laying the initial wood, right, to clear a path for Grenard to come around. And it looks to me, you tell me, I'm just an idiot with a pen tool here. Jihad Ward's not rushing the passer. He's attempting to put these guys in a precarious situation so that Grenard can kind of come around on the inside. Let me roll.
Absolutely. Go ahead, play it. And one of the biggest things on this is during a twist, the penetrator's job is to cause complete chaos and disruption. Now he's running here, but see how right there he goes and hits the shoulder of the McKivitz. It's just enough to knock him off. And what's crazy about this is the running back actually ends up being a hindrance in the middle here. Because look, the center's trying to get there, but he runs into the running back coming through here. And I will say this. I don't know if this was a design twist. And if it was, this might be one of the sneakiest twists. Go back real quick. Because I've never seen anyone ever spin inside on that. Normally they stop real fast and redirect, but to spin in like that on this perfect timing would be considered one of the craziest twists I've ever seen. Because look how organic this looks, right? You just got beat on a spin. Now, technically the center would be there to hit him. So if that was a 2-man game, though, like that's the cleanest twist I've ever seen in my life. Like I would have been like, dude, I had no idea that was going to be a twist.
Yeah. So you had the first 2 third downs of the game, and Flores gives you 2 completely different things, right?
And that was another thing, keeping them to like barely getting any first downs on third down, which was huge for them. And then not only that, but the turnover on downs was huge too, like defensively showing up in a big way. But I thought also special teams was huge for them this week.
CJ Ham, I'm sorry for slandering you in the first game, buddy, for that fumble.
Don't you ever talk about CJ in a bad way, because we love the hamster on this show, and he is.
I know, I forgot. I'm sorry.
He's still making plays, dude. I'm glad you put this in here. You know, I don't know much about special teams.
I don't either. So you tell me what you know.
I knew this, that guy right there, that Naga not gonna work here. That guy right there, yeah, he's in a lot of trouble because he didn't block the hamster.
Is this 30 on 30 crime right here?
This is, I mean, technically...
It was supposed to be, or no?
Go back real quick. I mean, technically, I think it is definitely the guard, because the personal protector and the center look like they're both kind of confused, because the center kind of goes straight back and the PP really doesn't hit anybody. But for sure, this guard's got to hit Ham. See how they're all kind of like, I don't know. I mean, dude.
Ugh. You don't see this in the NFL very often.
You don't see it a lot, and that's why I was excited for the Ham. He is the man, dude. Like one of the nicest guys in the world. Coolest. Look at him. He's just so excited.
By the way, he's flexing on it while the ball's in play.
I was going to say, his teammates running with the ball, and he's like, you like that? He's going crazy. Ham, get up and block somebody.
Oh, that's a good one, man. That's like right in the chest. Look at this. So ball's on the ground. Ham fist pump, flex on him.
That's a
do the
fine.
walk. Oh wait. Oh, we gotta go block. Oh no. Are we fining him for that? Here's
Definitely
the fine belt.
Ding him. Oh
He's
my
not
God.
over yet.
And he's still celebrating. Oh God. I love it.
Let's see what else we got. I can't remember what I put on this reel here,
Pull
so
some
we'll
good
walk
stuff.
through it
Here we
together.
go. All right, here we go. Here we go. A little 2x2. He loves his 2x2 into something. Here we go. Ooh,
Vikings have a screen game now. That's what I wanted to talk about with you.
Hey, I know, and that was one thing I wanted. I'm glad you brought that up because I wanted to talk about it too. Having a screen game in the NFL is so deadly because
I mean, there's like a generation of Vikings fans that haven't seen a screen game yet.
Dude, I'm telling you right now, I don't know that I've really been on a team my last like 5 years that had a good screen game, and it ruined a lot of things because something like as simple as this. See how nobody realizes what's going on. All those guys right now just got cussed out. Like, how stupid could you be to not see this, right? But then here's what happens later. Say later in the game you get beat for some silly reason. A lot of times they're going to stop right away and go, is this a screen? Like, it freezes them. And it's so fun, especially on a play like this, because this is like a counter screen, right? Like, we're going to fake the counter. We're going to come back. Everyone thinks it's a roll to the left, but it's really not. It's a screen to the right. I mean, that's how you draw more eye candy. You pull somebody over there. You got the tight end running over there at the same time. We do a little play action over here. Oh, where is everybody? On the wrong side of the field. And that's what's so cool about this. And not only that, but you stretch the entire field. You force them to cover every inch of it. We're going to come over here. We're going to run this way. Then we're going to throw it back over here. But we have 3 linemen out there. And that's another thing that shouldn't go understated. Their offensive line is playing extremely well right now, which is fun to watch.
Blake Brandel. It's only been 2 games, but Blake Brandel is one of the, and I know you love Pro Football Focus, but PFF has him as one of the highest graded guards in the NFL after the first 2 weeks. And you look at him on this, let's watch him on this play.
Blind squirrel finds a nut. Every now and then we agree on something, but this is a great job of getting out by everybody, but it's also a great job of Darisaw cutting off. And at the same time right here, getting that block on Fred Warner. And I can't stress to you how hard it is to block a guy like that can move that fast. But when you can put your hands on him and get him at least out of the way, you give your running back a chance to make a cut. So many guys whiff on that block right there. So many guys. But just getting in front of him gives your running back so many options, which is, like I said, fun because now all of a sudden Fred Warner's tired. All these D linemen are tired. And guess what? We got a first down, and you got to keep going. And it's just another way to beat on them. It's fun.
Oh, cooking now. Okay. This is the play here, dude. All right. This is the one. This is the
Dirty
97
girl.
yards. And if you want to spend the entire time just breaking down the referee's incredible work, sprinting
you
and
see
zigzagging
that?
and flipping the hips at the goal line.
Oh
we can do
my
that too.
God, dude, that was hilarious. But listen, you know what I love about this? I love the fact that he just doesn't break stride for any reason.
Look at this
2-man route. This is a 2-man route. I'm going to say that again. There's only 2 guys running a route. There they are, both.
And there they are. Look at Jalen Naylor, dude. That is.
Hey, another guy. You want to talk about a guy? I am like, dude, love this guy. Shows up when we need him. All of a sudden, he's downfield making blocks. But listen, this is one of the things that makes football really fun, is when you're running the ball and you're having success, and this team knows, they're coming after us. I mean, look at them. They are lined up, geared up to stop the run. Why? Because we're on the 2-yard line.
Yeah.
There's no way we're going to pass out of this, right? Wrong. That's what's fun about this offense. Like, when you think something's coming, you should think the opposite. Here we go. We've gotten every single person to suck up here. Every single person in the screen.
1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry for my bad drawing. 5,
No, you're
6,
good.
7, 8. We got. There's 9 guys right here.
Where are the other 2? Chase and JJ.
Okay, let's go back to the wide. Let's take a look from. Let's see here. Let's pop this real quick. So I'll stop it right at the fake handoff.
So honestly, this was just a terrible angle by the safety. I mean, JJ's clearly running the clear out. This dude really underestimated JJ and was like, I can keep eyes on Sam Darnold and chase this down. But it ends up being like this, almost like a Dino route, like an out and in, deep as hell. Dude,
I love
I
that
don't think
Darnold.
I've ever seen it so easy though.
I feel like a lot of quarterbacks, and Darnold, this is where Darnold's going to wind up. It's a little feast or famine with him, and he's going to throw some interceptions and whatever. But like, I feel like a lot of quarterbacks on that play see, wow, they got a safety over the top, so probably too risky to cut this one loose from my own end zone. And it felt to me like the entire time he knew that he was going to cut that thing 60 yards down the field.
Oh yeah,
and he was either going to take a strip sack in the end zone or he was going to die trying, basically.
But I mean, honestly, to take a strip sack on a play like this where you have 8 guys blocking would be very rare. Like, you know what I'm saying? You are in full max protection. We are sliding to the right, running backs coming through and helping the guard. Like, yeah, Brian's got a really shitty job, but there's a reason that he's a Pro Bowler. There's a reason that they trust him out there against Nick Bosa. That's the only guy on this entire page that we are like, hey, if you screw this up, it's going to look really bad. But if you can just do this and run him around the edge and give Sam maybe 4 seconds, he's going to heave-ho that thing so far to the 50. And, I mean, look at the safety's angle. He's behind him before he even catches the ball. Like, he's not even anywhere near him. It's just a bad – and JJ with just, like, the old Randy Moss, when the hand goes up, the ball gets thrown. I could say that because I sat in the same team room as him. That dude was so funny.
How many touchdowns did he have with San Francisco? Because I saw one of them on Twitter the other day. I was like, is that a Randy Moss San Francisco touchdown?
I don't know how many he had, but I'll tell you what, having him in the room was one of the greatest joys of my life. Just because he'd be like, Coach, I got a question. I'd be like, that's Randy.
By the way, I think Randy Moss was wearing a ref uniform here in this game. Look at this guy, dude.
The best is the hip flip. Did he do the hip flip?
Flip the hips right here.
Let me flip it.
Bang.
Just make sure I don't see anything bad or illegal. He's even looking at JJ like, where are you going?
Hey, before we look at a couple more plays here, I do want to shout out a friend of ours named Federated Insurance, which, by the way, Federated Insurance is like having a great offensive line for your business. If you're a business owner, you want to make sure that you feel protected. You want to make sure that you have a plan in place to stay focused on preventing claims and make sure that you can operate your business with some peace of mind. And that's where Federated comes in with over 100 years of experience. And based in Owatonna, Minnesota, they are one of us. They are trustworthy, and you can find out more information at federatedinsurance.com, where it's our business to protect yours. And Nicolay Law is here, too, as the exclusive personal injury law firm of Purple Daily. Russell Nicolay and his great team know that when you or a loved one gets injured, ordinary life can come to a stop. Things can get complicated. And during that time, insurance companies are likely to pressure you. That's where you can take a deep breath, give Nicolay a call, or go to the website, nicolaylaw.com, or 1-855-NICOLAY. And they'll help you get the compensation you deserve after an accident. So if you've been injured, get Minnesota's local award-winning injury lawyers. Get Nicolay. Back to the full screen film here, my friend. Let's plow through a couple more here. So just, man, you hit that 97-yard strike. You're feeling good. And what do we got next here? Vikings just passed the 50-yard line. A couple of tight ends on the right side. Let's run the football, shall we?
Uh-oh.
Vikings have a run game, too, since the last time we convened.
We just talked about this. Dude, this is...
Ty Chandler.
At first, I'm going to say this while this play runs, and I'll be done by the time it's done. When Duo was first installed, I didn't like it because it took over for power, but now I love it because I'm like, the chances of that power pull actually landing are sometimes not good. The reason we run Duo so much in the NFL is because it's just like a zone. It allows you to have combo blocks. There's actually 3 of them, and if you put the tight ends together, they're the
Are we going here on Bosa here, too?
Absolutely. We're always... So that's why we love Duo, because we get to double team all these guys, and it forces the linebackers to make a decision. And what you'll see here is Duo either hits in the A-gap in the NFL or it hits in the A-gap originally and then bounces, because everybody's going to step up. And who could not help himself the most but Fred Warner? I mean, dude, look at him. He's just a shark, right? It's a great play to come after him. Now, I do love this, too. I love the fact that Ed Ingram is coming at him, and I can see everything about him, but I want to get rid of that hand. And somehow you have to get that hand off you because he's going to continue to just keep pulling you.
Oh, right here. This is defensive holding right here.
That's total holding, and it happens all the time.
So you get it on. So just to get in the weeds here. So Duo, just to back this up, and this is what's great about hanging out with you, Jeremiah, because I don't know anything about this stuff, but Duo you are doubling down on the 2 defensive tackles, and then, like you said, sometimes on maybe an edge with 2 tight ends. But then you're climbing up to the linebackers.
Correct.
And the chess match here is with the defensive tackles, they're looking to prevent these guys from climbing up on linebackers so the linebackers can make the tackle.
Correct.
And that's where you get defensive holding. It's an uncalled holding here because sometimes what happens in the trenches stays in the trenches.
And 2, I don't know that he actually holds it. I mean, he's grabbing him right now, but you have to make a bigger move than that. You have to show like kind of like towards there. See how we kind of like twisted a little bit, but it doesn't matter because see how everyone's filled up in here? I mean, everyone's jumping in here to be like, no, these gaps are closed. Well, they forgot that Ty Chandler has a little explosion to him. And as soon as he hits that jet, he's gone. He does a great job of this. He tries to suck them all up in here. And if anything, they can get at least offensive linemen to have hands on them, just like they do. Tight ends locked up over here. We got Ed Ingram over here. We got,
these guys are all...
I mean, dude, it's incredible, right? Like, this is what you want to see. And then at the last second, boop, I'm out. Oh,
that's like a 4.5 40 right there too, man. Not that long ago.
And if you can suck that cornerback in, it is super fun. And now, what do you want to do off of that? Hopefully, it's the next play.
Let's see here. I cut this 2 days ago, and it's been a whirlwind. Let's see what do we got here.
You know me too well. Here it is. Boom.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Boop 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 boop.
Wide open.
Same little play action, right? Now,
Jalen
this isn't so much of as much as a duo as much as it is just a play action. But by this point in the game, they were getting gashed pretty good. And that's where all of a sudden everyone's like, all right, what's going on? They bring the safety in. This is just a normal motion that we would do because we're like, hey, listen, we can't account for him. Bring the receiver in to block him because if anything, we would want the cornerback to try and make this tackle, right? Like we don't want the safety to make the tackle because he's paid to tackle. We want the cornerback to get in here. It still has the duo concept. See how we're double teaming? Actually, it's counter. Look at Bosa. Throws the tight end. It's counter.
Here's Bosa.
He's legit. And counter is once again a family member of duo. We have some sort of double team. All of a sudden we get Ed Ingram out there. But what's so funny about this is Jalen Naylor just walks by everybody and nobody even stops him to be like, where's he going? Like,
dude, you know what?
Brown and Chardavius in the same exact spot. And watch.
But you don't see this very often, right? Where usually when a wide receiver lines up inside, well, he's not inside the tackle, but like when he lines up between a tight end and a tackle, it's to block for a run, right?
Correct. That's the whole point. Is this looks very believable? Like all of a sudden we're starting to look at this like, okay, yeah, he's getting in here. Why is he getting in here? Because Brown's in here. Okay, yeah, he's going to go block him. This is just totally fine. But the problem is, like, even Brown should be like, he's going to block me. Okay, no, he doesn't block me. And Chardavius is like, what's going on? Like, the fact that he just walks by everybody is so funny because they're so preoccupied with what's going on that they're not even stopping to think, like, this guy came in here to block me and he's not blocking me. What the hell's going on? Like,
but that's a really creative play design, right? Because if they just run this play and Jalen Naylor is sitting out here in the slot,
Chardavius Ward covers him.
He's going to get covered, right?
See how he's one-on-one right there? But instantly, once you bring him in, he kind of gets lost in the sauce. And this is where they're like, for sure, this is a run. Oh, look, he dangled the ball. And they both get caught with their eyes in the backfield. And now that's like it's too late. Dude, this is one of the easiest touchdowns. I mean,
that's Kevin O'Connell in his bag right there.
Which is fun, though, because you're making it easy for the quarterback. And it's just a little bit of play action because the run game has been doing so well.
Okay, I believe this is the big. Okay, the Vikings up by 6. You got to score here because
I know this one.
There's like 7 minutes left, but no Jefferson, no Addison, no Hawkinson.
Yep.
You got Jalen Naylor as your number 1 receiver. Brandon Powell. I think you got Sherfield on the field here. Maybe a Johnny Munt, but it's like, can Sam Darnold get these guys into field goal range and put this game away? On a big 3rd down here, by the way.
This was massive for them.
Back shoulder.
Just a dart. Just angry Sam throwing darts out there. Once again, take notice of how wide everybody is. Clearly want to get everybody on an island. Just going to make everybody set out as far as possible.
So just this is what they're doing here.
And what they do here makes it harder on the guards is it turns a guard into more of a tackle because they have to set way out there. And guards don't like to do that a lot. And so then all of a sudden, not only do they set way out there, but they'll bull rush you once you get there, or they'll spin back inside once you get out there. Like it can be a real mind game a lot of times. Tackles are kind of used to this by now, especially these two. They're some of the best.
Also worth noting on a huge, game-altering third down, who do you trust most in pass pro? The hamster, right?
By the way, did you see the interception with Fred Warner?
Yeah.
Did you see Christian Darrisaw, what he did to that guy?
I'd have to go back and watch.
Oh my God, he destroyed him and then destroyed Fred Warner. It was the most incredible.
After the pick?
No, like before the pick, somebody tried to spin inside on him and he murdered them. And then Fred Warner caught the ball and jumped over Sam Darnold and he murdered him. And I was like, this dude's a killer.
I'll say this. Bosa got Darrisaw a couple times in this game. That was a war. Look at Ham getting out there on Bosa,
dude. Well, that's what you're always going to want to do. You're always going to want to chip a guy like that, especially when he gets like out there. And we obviously talked on our last show about how Aiden Hutchinson had 4.5 sacks. And what was the one thing they kept trying to do to him? They kept trying to chip him, right?
Yeah.
We talked on that show how you want to take advantage of the chip. This is the opposite situation. There is no good way to take advantage of this chip. You're going to see, it looks like Johnny Munt tries to hit him on the way out, and then Ham's going to try and hit him on the way out. In our last show, we talked about how you want to close that space, but when they start outside of it, there's really no way to close that space, especially that wide. Normally a chip will be like where the guy is over Darrisaw now, we'll chip him, and that's when you want to jump, and once he gets chipped. But when you get out here, a chip like this is just meant to ricochet him out, and then Ham's meant to ricochet him in. So by the time he gets to Darrisaw, he's really pissed. He's like, God damn, I'm like, seriously, I'm a battering ram. Everyone's just been hitting me. And then by the time he gets to big 7-1, he's like, let me put my hands on you, right? Like, that's how you slow these guys down, which is also hard to do because it's hard to find tight ends and running backs that are good at chipping. Because a lot of them, like you saw in the game, they get a little pussified. And they're like, nah, and they just kind of get trucked over. And you're like, well, that did no good because that gave him confidence running through you. Now he's going to hit me. Like, it's just, this is a good job. And honestly, Bosa looking at Ham coming at him was probably like, no, goddamn. Not again.
Well, he's just got to run through. It's like the old Batman TV show. You just throw these like cronies at.
Exactly.
And by the way, Blake Brandel dying a slow death impressely on this play here.
The slowest death possible. Throw it. Hey, it doesn't count in the stat sheet for anything
enough,
bad.
Man.
Hey, I've had a lot of plays where you do just enough, and you're like, thank God that TV didn't show that. It's okay. Once again, go back real quick. Big boy, right? Big old sucker out here. Do not want to ever let a big boy get going. Why? Because their momentum will take them through your spine. They are very big, and if you let them see how he gets like 4 steps, and not only that, but at the same time, see how that inside foot is off the ground? I have no power. If I'm going to meet a guy like this, I'm going to get off the ball maybe 1 set, but I'm going to for sure throw my hands. I'm going to make this big dude try and slap my hands, spin on me. Like, I'm going to make him look goofy because the one thing I know he's probably going to try and do, like I just said, make me set all the way out here and what? Bull rush me because I'm not ready. That's one of the things that these guys are really good at. And like you said, he dies a slow death. The ball gets away. Nobody knows any different.
I got one more for you here because this is, again, Vikings. They 14 plays, and they ran 7 minutes off the clock and then kicked a field goal to go up 9. Just perfect drive. And this was the last first down here. So you're looking for one more chunk to really ice this game. And Ty Chandler, man, 10 carries, 84 yards, whatever it was. Just bouncing outside again.
Dude, simple plays, keeping it super simple. This is some sort of a SWAT, an outside zone. And what's funny is, go back, they're already all reached. And I mean, I don't know, they're out leveraged. Watch this.
Before it snapped, it kind of
watch what they line up. They must have thought they were going to try and run what play again? We just talked about it.
Duo?
Boom. And now all of a sudden we're running wide zone. Like, dude, Nick Bosa is out leveraged by 2 people. Very rarely do you see a defensive end who's not at least trying, because what their job is to do is to split the wedge. So he should be more in this gap between the tight ends so that he can see how he lets those two guys get off the ball clean, and now they're into a really good block. Normally what they do is they fire in between the two of them and breaks that block in half. So now all of a sudden one of them has to commit, one of them has to go, and it ends up screwing up the whole play. But he ends up getting out leveraged right away because he's like, oh, it's got to be a duo. It's got to be a power. It's got to be something. No, we're running wide zone. And now all of a sudden we got a receiver coming in here. I'll take my chances with Ty Chandler and with anybody on the edge because boom, sticky. Dude, I just talked to my boys about never being the nail. Run through. And that's what he exactly did. Like, Ty Chandler, shout out to you, dude.
That's what I just want one more time here because Sherfield is the wide receiver that deserves some love too. He's on the roster in part to block and be a dirty worker. And he comes in here and he sticks his nose in.
I mean, dude, look at that wall of
purple.
purple.
Seals this edge off, man.
You can see that perfectly. That is a take of this outside read all the way. What I tell you, we would rather have the cornerback make the tackle than the safety because look what happens when the safety comes over here. He starts messing up everybody, right? Dude, I'm telling you, man, it is a very big chess versus checkers type of game. And when you can go out here and do simple things like this, run the ball effectively, play action is on fire right now. It's going to force a lot of people to start looking at things. But not only that, but the way that they started running formations, we're out of gun, we're bringing back a little bit of pistol. Like all of a sudden it forces people to go, what else is in there? What else could they be doing? Who else are they going to use? And honestly, it's going to be insane to see what happens when they get back to full strength. Like they're going to be, I know, it's crazy, right? And
this must be a tough one against the Texans because you're going to be still with Addison's probably not playing and Hawkinson. You just there's crazy stats about playing the 49ers and then losing the next week. So could be a tough one against the Texans.
All those conspiracy theories. I forgot about that. No, I mean, listen.
Yeah, it's called data.
It's called analytics. I trust it more than my gut.
So if you look at the statistics,
technically speaking, 3-by-1, they only run this play. No, what I was going to say was, you know how I feel about the Texans. Like, I'm in love with them and what they're doing. D'Amico, it's so fun. I think this is going to be a really fun game. The question's going to be, does D'Amico get pressure at all on Sam Darnold? It's going to be that simple. And after that, do they get pressure on C.J. Stroud? Can this defense continuously? Because there was times in the game where it was like, don't get me wrong, Brock Purdy made some great throws and they made some great catches, but there were times where those big chunk plays were like, oof, that hurts, right? And as you go down the stretch, you're going to start facing really good teams, and Houston's one of them. This is a big test, and if you come out of this on top, it's going to be like maybe we were all really wrong. Like maybe we were
3-0 with wins over the Niners and the Texans.
There's going to be a lot of people that are like, okay, let's go back and rewatch all this film. How is this working? But a lot of it is just the way that they're running the ball effectively. It's forcing people to think a little bit more, and then the play action off of it. And you can play action anything off of, but then we talked about as well, the screen game. As long as that continues going well, you'll slow down the pass rush. At the same time, I don't expect to see that many four-man rushes anymore because somebody's going to be like, listen, if we don't get pressure on this dude, he's just going to zing it in there. So let's start picking that up, dialing that up. We've seen a couple plays right now of a couple guards getting pushed back. It's like, okay, as we start to get into the weeds, and this is the one thing I hated about the beginning of the season was he didn't have a lot of film on anybody. So like at times you'd have like 10 plays and going into week 3 and you'd be like, I can only know a guy off 10 plays. I don't know anything about this guy. And so now you're starting to see their formula develop, and it's like, can sustain that through the season? Because if you can, you know how me and Jay feel about if you have a run game. Dude, if you can run the ball, you can do anything in this league because people are just going to fear the run. Because what do we talk about? Losing a game to the run game, coaches are going to be like, I will kill all of you. I swear to God. You let them run the ball all over us. And
impose their will on you.
That's exactly how they see it. You guys.
Out-physical you.
You got to be duo? Your duo's going to get us? You got to be kidding me. It's all right.
Football.
I know.
Dude. Good to have you back. Alex
It's great
Boone,
to be back, man.
The Rhino on Purple Daily, and you can find multiple film breakdowns, podcast episodes from Booney and Jeremiah Cyril's 2 former Vikings offensive linemen, O-Line Committee YouTube channel, Apple, and Spotify. And we'll see you next week, man, for whatever happens in that Vikings-Texans game. We'll break it down here. Trenches with Boone here on Purple Daily. We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die. You got to run the ball to win a Super Bowl.